Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Pisces for July 2017. Go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, check out my blog, and also if you're interested in being an astrologer or a coach as your profession, I may still have some slots available in my courses. You can look on my website, anniehelpsyou.com, and click on Work With Me to see about those courses. So what's going on in the month of July? We've got eclipse rumblings already beginning. The eclipses that are coming in August, we might already start to see changes occurring from those eclipses in July. That makes it a very, very powerful month. If you ever track these eclipse cycles, you'll notice that either you are undergoing a massive change in your life, or you're holding space for someone else who is, or it seems like everyone around you is going through a whole bunch of stuff. This is the eclipse time. It's very, very intense. So 4 to 6 weeks before the eclipses actually occur, you can start to get news, pieces of information, events occurring that are related to this eclipse story. And this eclipse story started at the beginning of 2017, this Aquarius Leo eclipse cycle. And to kind of understand this a little better, think back to 2008 and 2009 and the kinds of things that were going on for you then, because that is the same sector of experience that you will be having the changes come to in this cycle that started in the beginning of 2017 and runs into 2019. So I'll talk a little bit more about the eclipses later, and I'll definitely go into way more depth as to where you can expect to experience personal Pisces changes with those eclipse cycles, with this eclipse cycle. But I wanted to just give you a heads up that if stuff starts to get intense in July, it's probably related to these eclipses, okay? You can start to feel those early. So we've got the eclipse rumblings. We've got lots of energy in Cancer. Whenever there's energy in a sign that's similar to yours, there's a sort of, there's an understanding. There's like a camaraderie between you and what's going on. These signs, these elements, they speak your language. Now, it turns out that sometimes when we have something speaking our language, it can either really enhance our experience, or if you have a lot of Pisces energy, having all the water energy can be overwhelming to you. We're all trying to seek balance, and so sometimes when we have a lot of things that flow well with us, we get out of balance. So if you tend to be an extra sensitive Pisces, an extra emotional Pisces, then definitely make good plans to ground yourself this month, because there's going to be lots of flowing water energy is the best way to describe it. So if you are a creative Pisces, as all of the people that I know personally that have Pisces placements are, expect to have a nice boost to your creativity, because all placements, early, middle, and late degree Pisces placements, will have strong energy flowing through the 5th house of the chart. The 5th house has to do with creativity. Creativity can come in a lot of different ways, but the standard house of creativity, like sizzling creativity, which is a little bit different than like the intuitive, flowing, abstract, quiet Pisces creativity. The 5th house is the Leo house of creativity, which is this like spark, it's this fire energy. So even though the planets moving through there are in the sign of Cancer, which adds to this emotional flow, there's this zest that comes through specifically for Pisces energy. It's kind of like a fire to a pot of water. It's like it brings it up to a rumble and can bring it up to a boil. So, and this is true really for any aspect of your emotional nature. It's like, most Pisces I know are not active unless they also have strong Aries placements. If they're on that side of the Pisces spectrum, then what I'm about to say is not valid. But for the others, Pisces energy is not outwardly attacking. It's not outwardly, feisty and kind of an argumentative or anything like that. But when you have this fire brewing under all of this emotion, then it has the chance to boil over, and this can be for better or worse. So, like I said, expect a lot of creativity, expect a lot of incentive and impetus to do something with your creativity or to be creative, and also to deal with certain aspects of your emotional nature that you might, avoid, really is the best way to look at it. So there will be people and things coming to bring up those charges that are not, are sort of below the surface. So that's definitely going to be a theme. So I want to break down the general transits for July 2017 that will affect all signs, and very dramatically I might add at that, into 3 sections. One is talking about this opening we have still for most of July from the personal planets being retrograde or the shadow periods, and then place that opening in the scheme of the next year and a half to understand what we're looking at. The second is I want to talk about this theme of emotional integration and living in charge, which I'll get into more details about what that looks like. And the third is these eclipse changes that will no doubt be happening to so many people already here in July, even though the eclipses don't actually happen until August, because we can very often feel the rumblings or actually the straight up eclipse news start to come in 4 to 6 weeks before the eclipses. So that actually places us as early as the end of June for some eclipse related changes and news to start coming in. So we'll talk about all of that. So let's go in order. Placing our period of time in this, this stretch, which had started in May and went all through June and runs through July 24th, which is a period of time that's free from personal planets being retrograde. Personal planets are the ones closest to us, and of them, the only ones that go retrograde are Mercury, Venus, and Mars. Whenever one of the personal planets are retrograde, it brings lots of opportunities that we don't have when they're retrograde, but it also brings lots of challenges that we don't focus on as much when they're direct. And in general, it's not the best time to launch things, to put new things out into the world. It's a better time to go backwards and inwards and try different things on and do short-term things of focus. But we do still have a stretch until July 25th where we don't have any personal planets retrograde or the shadow periods. So there will be some chances to take advantage of that this month, although there are lots of changes that are going to be coming to you. There are some dates that you can implement some things, which we'll get into. But understanding this general shadow period that's going to start from July 25th, we've got Mercury going retrograde again on August 13th. So between July 25th and August 13th, we have what's called a pre-shadow period. And that means it's like starting to get to where it's going to go retrograde. I always liken this shadow time to us driving in a car, going full speed, traffic is flowing well, and then we have to make a U-turn. You know, when you make a U-turn, you have to pretty much come to a complete stop to go around. And that's the energy that we experience, that awkwardness of slowing down, that awkwardness of having to wait until the other lane is clear and then getting up to speed again, etc. This process of a U-turn is very much like the experience we have of a retrograde planet. So after having this nice open period to do things from the end, middle to end of May into the end of July, we're starting every day as it gets closer to August 13th, just kind of putting the brakes on a little bit. And if we're not voluntarily doing it, the universe is bringing that to us. If we're trying to push forward, the brakes are going on anyway. So I learned, because I have Aries rising and a lot of fire in my chart, so I'm very action oriented. So when I learned about Mercury retrograde, I would try to do all the things that I might do in Mercury retrograde in the 3 weeks before Mercury retrograde, only to learn that that shadow period can actually be just as intense in some ways and have the same kind of implications as the actual retrograde. So that's when I learned to really understand and obey the rules that go along with it. And you can check out my Mercury retrograde video to understand this transit better. I go into way more detail about the caveats and the ways you can use it and the things to avoid, etc. So then August 13th through September 5th, we have the Mercury retrograde cycle. Not the best time to launch new things, make big decisions, although it's fine for short-term things and things that have flexibility. Then from September 6th through September 20th, we have the Mercury retrograde shadow period. Again, the post-shadow period, with Mercury getting back up to speed by September 20th. So this window that occurs between September 21st and November 15th is our last open period of the year without any personal planet retrogrades or shadow periods. So if you are not able to slip your launches and your new things in the period of time before July 25th, then you do have another period of time this year between September 21st and November 15th to do that. But if you've got some big plans brewing that are not quite ready to bring out yet, you might want to light a fire under your butt to do it, because next year we've got a year of personal planet retrogrades again, similar to this year, but actually more intense, because from January 12th through March 7th of 2018, and then a short little like 5 days or so in May of 2018, are the only times of 2018 that we don't have a personal planet retrograde, because we'll have multiple Mercury retrogrades in 2018, we'll have a Venus retrograde at the end of the year, we'll have a Mars retrograde that dominates a good portion of the year with its shadow periods, etc. So if you are trying to push things into motion, then you really want to take advantage of these opportunities to launch things. It's fine for business as usual, but things tend to slow down. So if you're feeling a little lazy and procrastinating, then knowing that this wall of retrogrades is coming starting March of 2018, so you want to take advantage of the time, up until July 24th, the time from September 21st to November 15th, and the time from January 12th through March 7th for your big decisions, your big launches. Okay, so there are quite a few challenging spots this month, but I always think that the challenging spots are what help us build character, they're what help us push through issues, they're what help us find those hidden blocks and that are stopping us from living in our fullest. If everything is going really well and going smoothly, we're not always as inclined to do the inner and outer work that we need to do to push through the things that are keeping us within the matrix. So when you have a month like this month that is just full of challenged aspects, especially with personal planets in the sign of Cancer, because Cancer is an emotional energy. It's about home and family, and no doubt there will be lots of themes involving home and family, homes, real estate, going to see family, family coming to see you, family issues, family opportunities. It's just going to be very much about home and family. But there's a lot of challenging aspects with these personal planets in specifically Mercury, the Sun, and Mars in Cancer, conflicting with these other planets that are bringing, it's bringing up weak spots in your identity and yourself and your communication and your creative faculties and how you use your energy and the male sides of each person, the action-oriented sides of each person. So challenges will come and opportunities will come to clear up, to see and to strengthen those weak spots. There are also quite a few challenged points with Venus in Gemini. So that's going to make for a lot of wishy-washiness. Venus rules love and beauty and money. So anything involving love and beauty and money, you're probably going to be flip-flopping back and forth, back and forth. So even though we technically have an open window to make decisions from the retrogrades, there are so many challenged planets that I don't love July as much for trying to push things forward unless things feel good, they're rolling, and you're okay and you're certain, then that's fine. That's why I like that window in June, especially the first 3 weeks of June, if you're listening to this early, for pushing things through, because once you get into July, there's just a lot of emotion. There's a lot of wishy-washiness. There's a lot of, weak spots being, poked at. And that's not always the best place to try to make big decisions from. So we've got this all over the place energy of Venus. So money stuff, things with your romantic life, just kind of being all over the place, whatever that winds up looking like for you. Now within all of that, we've got amazing aspects all throughout the month as well, interspersed with these challenged aspects. You can, when you sign up for my free email newsletter, if you go to anniehelpsyou.com and sign up for my free email newsletter, I write a monthly report with more details about the dates and the aspect and the the possible implications of those aspects. I write a detailed astrological write-up that I send you out a month before the month that it's current for, so that you can get more detail than I can always, I can't always go into all of that detail in the horoscopes, but you can pick up and supplement these videos with that newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com. But I will give you a couple of highlights of the month. We've got a lot. If you've got to do something important, I really love July 18th and July 19th. There's some really great, a series of great aspects there that are not as interrupted in those couple of days by the challenges that are, before and after them. So that's my favorite window if you have to make a decision or push a last minute launch through. We've got the full moon on July 8th or 9th, depending on your time zone. And that's a full moon in Capricorn. So the full moon in Capricorn brings completion, fullness, fruition to something involving work or family or career, not family, work, father, Capricorn energy rules father energy, authority figures, career, something like that. So many people will become recognized for things. This could be a great recognition moon. There are some aspects with Pluto and Mars that could leave you feeling a little bit challenged and helpless, but then there's a nice aspect with Neptune that can bring a transcendental or intuitive upliftment from the situation. But either way, there's still just as much opportunity for a positive outcome from this full moon, but there are going to be some challenges that come along with it. We also have a new moon in Leo. Now, this is the first of 2 new moons in Leo. Whenever we have 2 new moons in a sign, there's always a lot of power and a lot of focus on that energy. So Leo is a big story that we've got going on starting from the end of July. Then, of course, that's our prelude to the solar eclipse that we have in August. So I am going to get to these eclipses because these are definitely the highlight of the general transits for this month. But just to understand the month, if you want to make wishes for your new moon, July 23rd is the time to do that. So you get 10 wishes according to brilliant astrologer Jan Spiller. You write them down, you say them out loud, you feel them as if they're coming true. If you're trying to change your life and be a conscious creator or creatrix in your life, don't pass up these new moon opportunities to make wishes because the universe really does hear you. Sometimes it takes consistency. Sometimes you'll make a wish and you'll be like, oh my gosh, it came true. That's really cool. But a lot of times the universe has to do work with you, has to interface with you to help you become a vibrational match for that which you are wishing for. We can't get the things that we want unless we're a vibrational match for them. So if you're consistent with your wishing, the universe can implement the changes that need to happen in order for you to become a vibrational match. So take that opportunity on the 23rd for your new moon wishes, especially on the subjects of children, creative projects of any kind, musical projects, athleticism, anything if you're an athlete, romance, true love, pleasure, fun, hobbies. Those are all highlights that will be becoming stronger in this time and the time to come. Okay, so let's talk about these eclipses. Okay, so the first eclipse is a full moon lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Aquarius that will happen on August 7th. Now, a reminder as to why I'm talking about the August eclipses in the July report. Eclipses are very, very, very powerful events. And the implications don't just occur on the day that they happen. You very often, and I see this happen all the time, I've been tracking this for many years, will see news events, very prominent events, happen related to the eclipse up to 4 to 6 weeks before the actual eclipse. So that puts this lunar eclipse active time starting at the end of June. So I will go into way more detail for each sign as to what these eclipses might look like for you personally in the August report. But for now, I'm going to talk about the general implications of the Aquarius-Leo eclipses. So in general, a lunar eclipse removes some aspect of life, or basically it changes it, it takes it away. It closes it, it ends it. So there's closure, something notable coming, having to do with Aquarius energy, which can be your work within a group, working for a large organization, a humanitarian effort, a friendship, something involving acquaintances or social circles, internet-based projects, something where you're leading a group of people, anything having to do with technological advances, technology that you use for whatever this project is. So you'll likely see something ending or shifting with your relationship with those things, or just a straight up ending, like an ending of a friendship, or a friend moves away, or you leave a certain circle, or you lose resonance with a group that you had resonance with. So the full moons tend to be or the full moon eclipses tend to be like a full moon, but in triplicate. So this closing, this ending, this completion, the drama, you know, very often there's drama at a full moon. All of that can be multiplied by 3. So, you know, it's pretty intense. These are major monumental things. Now, the best way you can understand this eclipse set, this Leo Aquarius eclipse set that started at 2017, in the beginning of 2017 and runs into 2019, is to remember what was going on in your life between 2008 and 2009. That is the last time that we experienced the Leo Aquarius eclipse cycle. So if you remember the changes that happened there, the areas of life that were affected the most, those are the areas of life that are being brought right back into the forefront. So, you know, think about that, and then you'll start to see where the changes will likely affect you. And again, like I said, I'll go into that in more details in the August report for your sign. But this is the general experience. So then on the 23rd of August, there is the solar eclipse. It's the second new moon in Leo, except it's a solar eclipse. And that's out at close to 29 degrees of Leo. And that brings in new energy. So what we're basically doing here is we're shuffling energy around between Leo and Aquarius. Aquarius has to do with the group. Leo has to do with the individual. Aquarius has to do with the society and what is good for the group and what everybody needs and what everybody thinks. And Leo has to do with what the individual needs, what the individual thinks, what the individual does. So you're taking energy away from what people think you should do and placing it in your own court again. You know, it's your creative interest, your children, your romance, your pleasure, your fun, your way of doing things, your leadership is getting this focus at this time of this point in the eclipse cycle. So lots of new open windows occurring there, because again, the new moon solar eclipse is like a new moon in triplicate. So when we talk about new moon energy of something new opening, a new chapter opening, that's ×3 with the solar eclipse. And you can start to see what that new opening is going to look like in July. Or as soon as, well, let's see, 6 weeks before. Yeah, so pretty much July is when those changes are likely to start coming in. So depending on how these eclipses are hitting in your personal chart will make the difference between how you experience them. But you'll definitely notice that twice a year when we have these major eclipse cycles, you're either the one experiencing profound change, or you're watching other people go through these crazy things and you're like, oh gosh, what's going on? What's going on is the eclipses. And so you're either going to be the one experiencing massive change, or you're going to be the one holding space for the other people, and you might find yourself doing a little bit of both. So those are the things that are most relevant for the month for July, for the general transits. If you are interested in learning astrology, check out my astrology apprenticeship program. There might be some slots open still by the time you're watching this. Also, if you'd like to be a coach as your work, as your profession, and do your business online, you can check out my coach certification course and online business course, which I have as a dual enrollment, and there might still be some slots available there. That is a very long course, so I don't have an opening for that very often. So if you're interested in that, then definitely jump on it. If you are into tarot, definitely go to I Am Helios, IAMHELIOS. I'll probably put a link somewhere under here to check out my husband's amazing monthly tarot report that's starting in July. So you can get some other pictures and some points and some things to understand to make the most use of the energy in this month. And his name is B.R. Newman. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.